Now, on the face of things, Yamaha's Tracer 9 GT is first and foremost a tourer, but built up from the ever popular MT-09, it has that playful DNA. Now, it's more expensive than the BMW F900 XR and the Triumph Tiger Sport, but it's cheaper than Ducati's Multistrada V2S. Yamaha have built this with one thing in mind, and that is to do it all. So, with that in mind, is this the ultimate one-bike garage? I'm going to take it for a spin, tell you guys all about it. But before we do that, quick run through the stats. I'm Liam and this is Moto Planet.
Hello.
It reminds me of a certain character from a certain film.
Tell you what though, I'm a bit scared. What if it like broke? And it offers so much.
But is it as fun as a small bike? What are you doing, Yamaha? So it is an 893cc CP3 Euro 5 Plus engine. You're getting 117.4 brake horsepower at 10,000 RPM, 93 Newton meters of torque at 7,000 RPM. It weighs 227 kilos. You've got a fuel tank capacity of 19 litres, and you're going to get between 45 and 60 miles to the gallon. The AMT version that we have today costs £14,954. For the manual version, knock £1,000 off. Anyway, let's go back in time and have a look at my first ride. Once again, thank you so much to Yamaha MES in Queensferry for lending us yet another bike. Let's take a look.
So the Tracer 9 GT, I'm excited about this because this is obviously built up from the MT-09, and the MT-09 is quite possibly one of the best naked bikes on the market. Electronic suspension, electronic screen, 100mm of adjustment. The seat is a little bit thicker than previous model. Obviously some people might have concerns that the seat height would mean that you're not getting your feet flat to the ground too well. But not to worry, Yamaha have said that they've designed the seat a little bit slimmer, so obviously your legs aren't flailing out to the side as much. Quite keen to see what this screen does for me, because obviously on the previous generation there was a little bit of complaints with regards to the turbulence from the wind, but I'll be honest with you, whatever wind I'm getting to my face now, it feels quite steady, nice and chilled on my face. Obviously I haven't got the panniers on this, but the GT comes with the panniers, which they're reasonable. You don't get an overwhelming amount of space or inside. Of course, if you do want to go on a bigger trip and you need to pack a little bit heavier, there is of course motoplanet.co.uk. The tyres for this bike have been developed specifically for this bike to save weight. Pretty sure I'm right in saying it's 200 grams off the front wheel, 300 grams off the rear wheel. Hello Mr. Biker. Well, actually, speaking of acceleration, the nearest competitor when you think about power is actually the Ducati Multistrada V2, which is obviously a little bit more expensive than this bike. It's around the same price or similar to the GT Plus that Yamaha offer. Now I'm going to go through the city and see what this is all about. What I do like, this AMT is holding onto the gears a little bit more. The AMT system on the Tracer 9 is a staggering £1,000 more expensive, so I did a little bit of reading up, and obviously the amount of rider modes that this bike has, and adjustability and electronic aids, and overall it's a more advanced system, so it's a little bit more expensive to adapt and integrate with the triple. Go this way, nice and steady. Ooh, this is good, the cobbles in here, this is a good little opportunity. Smooth as butter, that. And I will say, I've not been a fan of the AMT system, but so far I'm quite enjoying it. I don't like it when it changes gear halfway around the corner. I mean, I'm sure it's okay, but I just don't like it that much. I might actually, let's see what D+. Ooh, yeah, it's a bit more responsive now. Anyway, we are heading now towards the dual carriageway, so we'll give it a good little run on there. I have to say, I've quite enjoyed this pootling around town. That was so effortless. It felt nimble, it felt stable, it felt comfortable. I liked how the AMT system was actually quite predictable in this instance. 3, 2, 1. This is the first bike that I have ridden where the screen is actually completely covering me. There's a little bit of turbulence now, so we're going to go through the menu here. So if you hit the little home/back button there, you've got the screen here, and you literally just use the little stick up to to go up, down to go down. Now that is substantially louder. So I'm going to put that back up for a bit of peace and quiet. I'm also going to use the cruise control. So you push that button once, set. Not only have you got cruise control, but you have a limiter as well. So if you go into Wales on your tour and you're going to go through a 20-mile-an-hour limit and you're a little bit worried that you're going to just twist the throttle a little bit too much, well, there you go. Seat's lovely, I still feel nice. Suspension's very nice. Obviously there's a few little bumps coming on, but I don't, because that's the thing, isn't it, with Tourers, you want as little influence on fatigue as possible. So that's sort of where I see. So for example, let me go back to the MT-09 AMT. When you buy a naked bike, for me personally, don't come at me in the comments like last time, that particular bike is about engagement. It's about whee! It's about fun. It's about being an absolute yobbo. You're not looking for all day comfort necessarily on that bike. You want to be a part of the bike. But on a sports tourer, when you're munching down on miles all day long and you've got to cover these little stretches, you want the cruise control, you want to sit back, you want to relax, you want to give your arms a rest. When you're going through town, you don't want to be constantly on and off the clutch necessarily. If you're riding all day, these things all come together and add quite a bit. Right, I'm going to pull off here. I've tested the dual carriageway, let's go just do some normal riding again. Obviously you've still got cruise control. If you want to deactivate the cruise control, gently touch the front brake or the rear brake and voila. I love this bike. It does feel playful. Right then, let's go play on some B-roads. Oh, she's a different animal to the MT-03, isn't she? As soon as you get to about 6,000 RPM, she just wants to take off. This obviously is a very, very powerful bike. Now, if you are riding with a pillion and you're going on a tour, it's always nice to have that extra power. Do you know what? I'm going to actually try my limiter. There you go, set to 50. And look at that. Full throttle. Full throttle. I'm wide open on that and I'm not going anywhere. That's quite handy actually. Fair dues. I'm impressed. I am really impressed. This is everything you could ever need from a bike. What's great about this GT model is that it offers so much. I really do have a soft spot for Yamaha. They know how to build a bike. And I suppose we best pull over now and have a little walk around the bike.
Now what are we looking for with a one bike garage? Well, it's going to need to do three things. First of all, you're going to want to take it to the shops. Second of all, you're going to want to go out on a nice little weekend ride for fun. But also, you're going to want to go on a longer tour. You need it to be comfortable. So we will start with the tourability of the bike. Now with touring comes mileage, and with mileage comes fatigue. So what does this bike offer us to help reduce said fatigue? Well, you've got cruise control. You've also got a speed limiter, which is especially handy in your average speed zones. You've got a screen at the front that does an absolutely outstanding job at keeping things quiet, keeping that wind buffeting to a minimum. The previous model wasn't so good at that, so it's a massive improvement already. You've also got, spec'd on this particular Tracer 9, the Yamaha's YAMT system. It's implemented very well, and it's something I've struggled to get on board with when it came to the MT-09 and the Tracer 7, but somehow it just all fits. It works really well. It's still a little bit intrusive. It's not quite as subtle or as smooth as Honda's DCT system, but nonetheless, it's not enough to put you off spending an entire day in the saddle. Now, can you take it to the shops? Well, yes, of course you can. It is, after all, a motorcycle. Now, on the face of it, it looks like quite a large motorcycle, but it is, of course, if you remember rightly, built up on the MT-09, which is obviously the naked version of this bike. So when you look at it, you think, probably going to be a bit difficult to ride around town. Well, we went through the city, and I tell you, it rode just like a naked bike, the MT-09 specifically. It was comfortable, it was steady, it was light, it was maneuverable. It was even at 3 mile an hour, 5 mile an hour. The AMT system worked brilliantly, it was consistent. The adaptive suspension, we went over some cobble streets, smooth as butter. The wide handlebars, that also helped with the maneuverability. It sort of performs through the city as you'd expect from a smaller bike. But is it as fun as a small bike? Of course it is, and there is one solid, very good reason for it. It is, of course, this. Yamaha's own CP3 engine. It is quite possibly the greatest engine to grace a motorcycle. There is a strong argument to suggest that it is one of the best, if not the best engine. It's playful, the power delivery is so smooth and torquey. You've got that balance between the playful spirit and the torquiness of a twin, and then the raw power from a V4 or an inline 4. It's a nice middle ground for, well, day-to-day ridings. And then when you put that together with the adaptive suspension, one flick of the switch and you've gone from a nice, comfy, soft around the edges tourer to a sports bike with a playful engine and a playful suspension setup. Now, before we point out some of the special features of the bike, let's just touch briefly on how it looks. And if you ask me, it looks fantastic. It looks as sporty as it feels to ride, but there is an elephant in the room, and that is in the shape of the new Matrix headlights. They're fantastic, great bit of technology, but it adds a fair bit of weight to the front, and it reminds me of a certain character from a certain film, Monsters Inc. I don't know if you've seen it, but Roz, the administrator. Do let me know in the comments if you like the look of this bike or not. Now, speaking of headlights, not only is this a first on a Yamaha, but this is a first on a motorbike in general. Matrix headlights, and if you don't know what they are, a brief explanation. There's a camera here that sees the oncoming traffic at night time, and it'll maintain full beam for yourself, but that car that's coming towards you, it'll keep them in a little pocket of darkness. Very, very handy feature because they're not getting dazzled and you're maintaining visibility. Very cool. Now, a personal favourite feature of mine is this. There is a button behind the fairing. Press that button and it gives you access to a little compartment. Within that compartment is a USB port. So, grab your phone, slide it in there, close the compartment up, voila, storage. Now, one consistent theme with this bike is the adjustability. You've got an adjustable screen, your rider modes are adjustable, your suspension is adjustable, and even your seat height is adjustable. You can literally make this bike whatever you want it to be to suit whatever it needs to be. It's one of the things that makes this bike such a great all-rounder. Now onto the build quality and comfort. Comfort. Now, the seat height is 845mm, which is 30mm higher than the previous generation, all thanks to a thicker saddle. So you'd be forgiven for thinking that it might make getting your feet down a little bit more challenging. But thanks to some clever design work from Yamaha, the seat is narrower, meaning that there's not much difference to the previous one. The place to be, the cockpit, really nice wide handlebars, nice open body position. Like we said before, the screen is fantastic. You've got a nice forgiving angle on your knee and your ankle. It's just a very nice place to be. It's not too aggressive and it's not too relaxed. A great all-rounder, you could say. It's also been lengthened ever so slightly, and there's a little bit more room on this back seat. So if you are riding with a pillion, they're going to be more comfortable too. Now, Yamaha have never been ones to really excel when it comes to build quality. However, this particular bike is very different. Everything feels really solid and really well put together. Even the rear number plate light bracket, which often is very loose. The rear indicators are quite solid. There's a couple of things that let it down, and that is the brake reservoir a little bit loose there, and you've also got the indicator here on the plastic. But overall, it's a very, very nice build. Before I get my helmet and we go for a second ride where we'll talk a little bit more about why it is such a great all-rounder, you want to listen to it. Now, I will pre-warn you, soft limiter. What are you doing, Yamaha? What's that about? Audi and VW, they'll have fake exhaust tips next. I'm not even going to rate that. That is outrageous.
So what makes this bike so bloody good? Honestly, I'm hard pushed to find a bike that does it all. I'm quite taken by the AMT. It works really well on this bike. It fits this kind of bike. If I'm going to do 200 miles in a day, sooner or later I'm going to be sitting there quite happy about automatic transmission. I'm going to be sitting there quite happy about a comfortable upright seating position. I'm going to be happy about a big old screen right in front of me. All of these ingredients to help reduce fatigue on the longer tours. It's still an MT-09 from the ground up. It's just as playful, it's just as lively, it's the same engine. It's just that the ergonomics are a little bit more suited for comfort. But then you could argue if you go and do 200 miles on an MT-09, you might have a pretty miserable time by the time you get to the end of the day. So I think that's why this bike excels. It can do everything really well. It's got that balance down to a T. I could really see myself having one of these. And if I had to have one bike for my garage, I'd definitely be looking at one of these. Now, would I get the GT Plus or the GT? I'd probably not bother with the GT Plus because I think I could probably do without all those extra little bits. I feel like the Plus is a bit more of a look what I can do kind of thing, whereas this is a bit more realistic. I don't think I've ever seen a Tracer GT Plus on the road, actually, thinking about it. Overall, I'm very impressed. Fantastic little bike.
Okay, we are back from the second ride and we've had a chat about why this bike might just be the best one bike garage. And the best way I can think to put it is this. It's a jack of all trades and it is still somehow a master at pretty much everything. Okay, a master might be a bit of a stretch, but it's damn good at everything it does. It rides like a sports tourer, but it also rides like a sports bike, if that makes sense. You've got the convenience and the practicalities of a bigger, more comfortable bike, but you've also got that attitude and playful spirit that Yamaha is so well known for. Like we've said before, it is built up from the MT-09, so it's only right that it remains slightly like the MT-09, playful in spirit. I really do think that this is quite possibly the ultimate one bike garage, or if not this bike specifically, this specific type of bike, i.e. a sports tourer. Now, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Don't forget, like, subscribe. I've been Liam, we've been Moto Planet. Ta-da.